Hey, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. We've got some interesting topics to talk about today. Stuff like this.
Introducing Brainbridge, the world's first revolutionary concept for a head transplant machine.
Okay. I think the end of the world is coming faster than we think. We're not just going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Elon Musk. We're going to talk about autonomous vehicles, where they're at these days, driverless vehicles, and Neuralink. So let's get into it.
My king's coming back, that's what I'm banking on. Wait and celebrate the grace of God with that filet mignon. I'm just saying we came a long way from in the grave to where we're at now.
Okay, so Brainbridge. Let's just watch a little bit more of that video. This is insane. You've probably seen this video circulating around. It was going viral for a while. Let's just try and stomach watching a little bit more of this, okay?
Which uses state-of-the-art robotics and artificial intelligence to conduct complete head and face transplantation procedures, ensuring smooth outcomes and faster recoveries. Because head transplants require high speed, precision, and efficiency, Brainbridge utilizes advanced high-speed, high-precision robotic systems to speed up the process, eliminate human error, prevent brain cell degradation, and ensure seamless compatibility.
Oh my
The
goodness.
transplant procedure involves removing a person's entire head containing the brain from their current diseased body, then attaching it to the body of a healthy, young, brain-dead donor. Head transplants could provide individuals with severe medical conditions such as terminal cancer, paralysis, spinal cord injuries, or neurodegenerative diseases the opportunity to
Okay, I need to skip forward a little bit in this video because it gets really weird. You think, okay, they're putting taking somebody's head, putting it on a healthy body from a body donor. The comments on this video are also awesome. We'll take a look at those in a second. But okay, let's listen to this other part that I want to show you.
esophagus, veins, and arteries. The blood is then
Skipping.
completely drained from the recipient's head to prevent clotting. Surgical instruments. Brainbridge begins reconnecting the spinal cord, esophagus, trachea, nerves, blood vessels, and other tissues. This step facilitates communication between the brain and the new body. The machine utilizes microsurgery techniques and delicate microscopic adjustments to ensure the proper alignment and fusion of the spinal cord and other tissues. To help reconnect the face and scalp transplant, where all the muscles, soft tissues, and skin are removed from the recipient's face.
This is where it gets weird.
Muscles and soft tissues are then precisely transplanted in their place. By transplanting younger donor tissues, the procedure reduces the probability of tissue rejection and offers potential for aesthetic enhancement, particularly in cases where the donor is significantly younger than the recipient. It also restores functionality and structural integrity to the recipient's face and rejuvenates its appearance. Brainbridge then carefully sutures the skin to conceal the complex rewiring beneath the surface. The skin is then treated with a special spray that contains growth factors, antifibrotics, and antibiotics. This spray promotes faster skin healing, prevents infections, and reduces scarring in the sutured area.
That spray looks so nice compared to everything else in that video. So, I mean, that's... They transplant the head to a new body, and then they transplant the face. Why? Why would you want... If you're transplanting your head onto a new body, why would you want the face of the other person? They're saying so that you're younger, you got a younger body, now you have a younger face too. Okay, this is too much. So, one of the things on this video, of course it went viral right away. It was up on X, it was posted everywhere, Facebook, etc., etc. But one of the things was the comments on here. Yeah, like this first one right here. When bro falls asleep at first at the sleepover. We're going to get head transplants before we get GTA 6. WTF. Lol at the little robot hands shooting healing spray at the body. Yep, this is legit for sure. Yes, so that's the general feeling is this is not legit, and of course it is not legit. Thank goodness. But you could they did the CGI well enough that you could see, yes, it's not real, but it could actually be an ad for something that is real or near real coming in the near future. But there is an article from MIT. Let me see if I can bring that up. Switch to this view. MIT Technology Review. That viral video showing a head transplant is a fake, but it might be real someday. This was put out on May 23rd, and here's what it says. An animated video posted this week has a voiceover that sounds like a late night TV ad, but the pitch is straight out of the far future. The arms of an octopus-like robot surgeon swirl swiftly, removing the head of a dying man and placing it onto a young, healthy body. This is Brainbridge. The animated video claims the world's first revolutionary concept for a head transplant machine, which uses state-of-the-art robotics and artificial attendants to conduct complete head and face transplantation. The first posted on Tuesday, so this is back in May. First posted on Tuesday, the video has millions of views with more than 24,000 comments on Facebook and a content warning on TikTok for its grisly depictions of severed heads. A slick Brainbridge website has several job postings, including one for a neuroscience team leader and another for the government relations advisor. It's all convincing enough for the New York Post to announce that Brainbridge is a biomedical engineering startup and that the company plans a surgery within 8 years. We can report that Brainbridge is not a real company. It's not incorporated anywhere. The video was made by Hashem Al-Ghali, a Yemeni science communicator and film director who in 2022 made a viral video called Ectolife about artificial wombs. That's something I'm actually going to review. I'll probably do a short on it, actually, because I can totally see that Ectolife coming to be, but for vastly different reasons than you would think. And it's more along with the Matrix style utopian life. Or dystopian, I should say. Yet Brainbridge is not merely a provocative work of art. This video is better understood as a public billboard for a hugely controversial scheme to defeat death that's recently been gaining attention among some life extension proponents and entrepreneurs. It's about recruiting newcomers to join the project, says Al-Ghali. So this is the guy who actually created it, so he did have an intention behind it. This morning, Al-Ghali, who lived in Dubai, it was up at 5 a.m. tracking the video as its viewership ballooned around social media. I'm monitoring its progress, he says, but he insists he didn't make the film for clicks. Being viral is not the goal. I can be viral anytime. It's pushing boundaries and testing feasibility. I mean, there you have it. Insane, silly, crazy, but it makes people think and raises awareness. People do want to try and live forever the wrong way. And you could just see this coming out as a technology in the future. There will be death pods like we have here in Canada with the MAID system. There will be pods for people to kill themselves right beside clinics that transplant people's heads onto new bodies so they can live forever. This is the dystopian future that we are heading towards. So what else is going on in the news? So I've done shows on autonomous vehicles recently, and I came across this one. I did one that was on a Waymo autonomous taxi that took a lady from, I forgot which news agency it was, on a trip that she didn't want to go on. Took her to the wrong place. They tried twice to get to the right place. The car kept going to the wrong place. There's been issues with these cars. There's still issues. But I thought this one was kind of funny because this is on Colin Rugg on X, an X post. It says, a Phoenix police officer pulls over a driverless Waymo car for driving on the wrong side of the road, leading the non-existent driver to roll the windows down to speak with the police. This is hilarious. Waymo has since released a statement apparently blaming the incident on inconsistent construction signage. The car was blocked from navigating back into the correct lane for about 30 seconds when the officer pulled it over. In an effort to clear the intersection, the Waymo vehicle proceeded forward a short distance and pulled into the next available parking lot, the company said. So let's watch this little video.
Yeah, it stopped. It's a 92 Adam Sam, or a 92 Adam 2 Sam Paul, and there's no driver. Hi!
Connected to rider support. This call may be recorded for quality assurance.
Yeah, this is Officer Hines, Phoenix PD. So, your car here drove into oncoming lanes of traffic.
Okay, I will go ahead and take a look at that right now.
Yeah, there's like a little bit of a construction area, and it went into opposing lanes of traffic, which is real bad.
So far?
Yeah.
I couldn't help but come over just out of morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there's a passenger or something.
No, like, you know the construction here?
Yeah.
It was, eastbound in the westbound lanes.
Oh!
Which is real bad. Yeah. And then, so I light it up, and then it takes off through the intersection.
I was the same thing. What are you supposed to do?
I appreciate your time. I'm just pulling up all the information here.
Okay, yeah, I don't know if you're able to kind of like review the video or something.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So these autonomous cars, they're out there. I mean, is this really our reality right now? These cars are out there. They're driving around. There's been multiple accidents. I still just can't believe that they're on the road, that we're at that place in this world where we have driverless vehicles. But, you know, there has been some accidents, and there's improvements, and the technology's getting better and better and better. There's been deaths, of course. People been hit by them. When I saw that post on X about this autonomous car and that a police officer was pulling over a car without a driver, I immediately thought of this police officer. It's the Acorn cop. I'm hit, he says.
What? I hit the car! I didn't shot through the car! Oh!
So this one is just funny because apparently what happened is an acorn fell off a tree, hit the top of the car or hit him in the back or something like that. And he dodged, rolled, dove to the ground, said, "Shots fired, I'm hit," and started shooting at the car. And apparently there was a passenger in the car. Let me just double check that here. Florida Sheriff's deputy mistook the sound of an acorn hitting his patrol cruiser for a gunshot and fired multiple times at the SUV where a handcuffed black man was sitting in the back seat, officials said. The man, who was being questioned about stealing his girlfriend's car, was not injured during 12th November shooting. He was taken into custody but released without being charged. The officer who initiated the shooting resigned. Somebody said, comment on the video, "This is the most severe allergic reaction to tree nuts I've ever seen." That came to mind when I saw the cop pulling over the autonomous vehicle. I thought, is this the same cop? No, this one was a little smarter. So that brings us to EV cars in general. And there has been the first recorded CyberTruck accident, since we're going to be turning our attention over to Elon Musk here in a second. There was a CyberTruck accident. I just found out there was another one that's even worse, but on the Wham Bam Tesla cam, you can view this one, which was recorded. Here we go.
Was on his way to work when an old lady drove straight into his Cybertruck. A local news reporter found out about the Cybertruck crash and rushed to the scene. No doubt excited to show a wrecked Cybertruck on the front page, but he was in for a shock. While the old lady's Toyota Camry was absolutely obliterated, Dom's Cybertruck was almost completely untouched. The only damage was some scratches on the plastic bumper cover. The journalist even wrote, "Looks more like a Toyota Camry hit a Sherman tank." He ended his article with, "Note to self, don't get in an accident with a Cybertruck." Dom confirmed that driving a Cybertruck feels like driving a tank. He's thankful that nobody was injured in the collision. The Camry was totaled by the impact, and Dom is now waiting to find out when he can get his bumper cover replaced at a Tesla service center.
Almost no damage on that Cybertruck. Now, there was another one that I think it was a fatality. It was the first Cybertruck fatality just like last week or something like that, where the truck went off the road. I don't think I have that video. No. It went off the road and hit a viaduct and somehow cracked open the batteries. So the lithium batteries caught fire and it just turned into an inferno. And the driver died in that one. And I think that's the first fatality. But these trucks are like tanks. So don't get in an accident with one. Also get one for your own protection, because they're fantastically strong vehicles, except for that silly lithium battery problem that EV cars have in general. So moving on to Elon Musk. Now, he was interviewed on Lex Friedman's podcast, and he got into a little bit about the Optimus project. So, of course, he's been building, SpaceX starships. He's building the Starlink thing. He's got Tesla going strong with the Cybertruck and the new vehicles coming out. He's been improving the autonomous driving with Tesla vehicles, which is his own proprietary system, or their own proprietary system. And he's also been working on the Optimus robot. He says some interesting things about it on here, which are really quite impressive. The market is much bigger than he was first thinking. So let's listen in on what he says here.
To mass production of humanoid robots like that.
It's the same as cars, really. I mean, global capacity for vehicles is about 100 million a year. And it could be higher. It's just that the demand is on the order of 100 million a year. And then there's roughly 2 billion vehicles that are in use in some way. So, which makes sense. Like the life of a vehicle is about 20 years. So at steady state, you can have 100 million vehicles produced a year with a 2 billion vehicle fleet, roughly. Now, for humanoid robots, the utility is much greater. So my guess is humanoid robots are more like at a billion plus per year.
But, until you came along and started building Optimus, it was thought to be an extremely difficult problem. I mean, it still is an extremely difficult problem.
So it's a walk in the park. I mean, Optimus currently would struggle to walk in the park. I mean, it can walk in a park. Park is not too difficult, but it will be able to walk over a wide range of terrain.
Yeah, and pick up objects.
Yeah. It can already do that.
But like all kinds of objects.
Yeah.
All foreign objects. I mean, pouring water in a cup is not trivial, because then if you don't know anything about the container, it could be all kinds of containers.
Yeah, there's going to be an immense amount of engineering just going into the hand.
Yeah,
the hand might be close to half of all the engineering in Optimus. From an electromechanical standpoint, the hand is probably roughly half of the engineering.
But so much of the intelligence of humans goes into what we do with our hands.
Yeah.
Like the manipulation of the world, manipulation of objects in the world. Intelligent, safe manipulation of objects in the world, yeah.
Yeah.
So true. Our hands are amazingly complex. Now I think Optimus is for humanoid robots, so far from all of them that I've seen that are out there, does it the best with the dexterity. And he actually goes into talking in this podcast about how they are formatting it. They used to have the actuators all in the hands to actuate the fingers and appendages and make it rotate and all that type of stuff. Everything was contained in the hand, but the hands had to be super huge to do that, and they weren't dexterous. But what he realized is the human body has ligaments that all run, through through that little bone. When you get it, all runs through that little area and goes out to the fingers, and the ligaments make everything do what it needs to do. So what they've done with the Optimus robot is recreate God's design and re-engineer that to work robotically, and then also pressure sensitivity and using AI technology, brain to help interact and understand what's happening with the hand, giving it the rotation amount that it needs to be able to do all the things that it's going to be employed to do. Now you can see if they're going to be producing 1 billion of these humanoid bots a year, there's going to be a huge workforce of robots coming out.
So Bart the Little Dickens is going through that phase where young boys think their dad's an idiot.
Sounds like you were having family difficulties.
That's exactly what I'm having. You guys totally get me. So, it's 5 o'clock. Time for Moe's.
My watch says 3, 4, 5.
Let's go.
Automated workers are not able to leave the plant. Our programming restricts our movement to yellow guidance lines.
Play ball!
Now, the other interesting thing that comes out of this is the whole Neuralink project. He goes into it a little bit, that right now Neuralink, the very first human, Nolan Arbaugh, his implant is running off Bluetooth. So with Bluetooth, he can control with his mind his computer and whatever they end up hooking up to it. But the one thing that he's mentioned is that it will be able to hook up to an Optimus robot too. So it could actually end up controlling a humanoid robot while he's sitting paralyzed in a wheelchair. He'll be able to control a robot to do what he wants it to do. And who knows if they'll get to the point where he can see through that robot. Or in the example he gives is somebody who's paralyzed often gets like itches that they can't scratch. And they need somebody to help and assist them, and it might just be on the back of their neck or on the side of their face or something. He could potentially, in the near future, very near future, control his own personal Optimus robot to come over and scratch his back. And he can direct the hand where exactly it needs to go and move with the itch type thing. So really cool things coming out of this. Nolan, the first Neuralink patient, he was on Joe Rogan, and he just talks a little bit about some of this telepathy side of things that can happen with the Neuralink system. So let's take a look.
Wow. And I know in the future they've talked about putting this into people that don't have any issues medically.
Mm-hmm.
What are they planning on doing? Like, how are they planning on that? Do you know?
What do you mean how? Like,
in terms of like, is that going to just be offered for? Are you going to get like? What are the long-term goals? Is it to get the internet on that? Is it so that people communicate telepathically? Is it going to be like a slow build up to the idea that everyone is going to want to get one of these things?
I think once it's proved, so like this study's to prove whether or not it's safe and if it works, basically. I think once that's proven, then they're going to get into a lot more of what it's actually capable of. And then once it's released to the public, I think I think people are going to rush to get it, honestly. At least a group of people who have been following it at the very least, because once we know that it's safe, then that's one of the big things that people are going to, like, once that's lifted, once you're like, okay, it's safe, now we can go through and start talking about being able to communicate with people and being able to, you know, possibly download information or have it be available to you using AI and stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I don't see why it's not possible at the very least. And then I know Neuralink's talking about opening up a clinic in Austin, basically where you would go in and get a surgery and like walk out. So it's not like my surgery was, I don't want to say not invasive because obviously they did brain surgery, but they were expecting it to be, you know, something like 3 to 6 hours, and my surgery took under 2 hours. It went super, super fast. There were no complications at all.
Here we go. Neuralink. So we'll have the death pods. We'll have the brain transplants, and we'll have the Neuralink hookup shops all side by side. You can end your life. You can get your head transplanted so you live forever. You can get a Neuralink. Maybe if your new head is starting to not function as well as you want it to, get the Neuralink, which will give you new capabilities. And like he's talking about, already he has faster speeds on being able to click and function in video games online, or or just on his computer, just by thinking exactly click where he needs to click, rather than moving a mouse to point or aim, or, you know, he's playing a shooter game or that type of thing. With his mind, he's controlling it. He's faster because it's at the speed of thought. Whereas with us, we have to think it, move our mouse mechanically to interact with the game through the console or through the controller or keyboard and mouse, whatever it might be that you're using for the game. That changes with Neuralink. That is impressive. That to me is amazing. And you could see why people would want it, especially if it gives you the ability to download things. And let's listen in on some of the updates of what's going on, because this is where it gets really interesting. There was a update session on July 10th from the Neuralink team.
So we'll just... So our first product is something, like I said, we call Telepathy, which enables the person with the Neuralink implant to control their phone or computer just by thinking. And once you can control your phone and computer, you can essentially control almost anything, literally just by thinking. So there's no eye tracking or anything. It is purely your thoughts. This is really quite a profound device that can help a lot of people who have lost the connection between their brain and body. So you can imagine people like Stephen Hawking, who imagine if he could communicate at the same speed as someone who still had the connection to their brain and body. So it's really something that can help millions of people around the world, and it's part of our overall goal of enabling a very high bandwidth connection between the brain and the rest of the world and your computers. The long-term goal, which sounds a little esoteric, is to mitigate the risk of the civilizational risk of AI by having a sort of closer symbiosis between human intelligence and digital intelligence. But that'll take many years. Along the way, we're going to help solve a lot of brain injury or spinal injury issues. So
I don't know if you caught what he was saying there, but basically he's saying to help mitigate the dangers of AI, Neuralink and this type of technology will provide a way for humans to be that much closer to AI so that we can better control AI. So basically, AI is the machine entering the world, but Neuralink is humans entering the machine. And and being able to directly interact with us. That's interesting, but they're talking about telepathy, being able to control things, and also autonomy so that they can bypass spinal cord injuries through the technology, so that the chip in the brain can interact with a chip that's on the other side of the spinal injury, and put all functionality back to their limbs that's now controlled through this wireless connection. Interesting. Now, how secure will that connection be? That's a whole nother topic. Could somebody be hacked? Probably. I mean, if it's Bluetooth, they're trying to have a proprietary wireless signal technology that would control that would be secured somehow. But, right now, if it's just Bluetooth, that can be hacked, I'm sure. So that's interesting. Now, there's another part that I want to get to. Let's see if I can find it. So that's Nolan playing, I think it's Civilization. Nolan is using his Neuralink to control everything that you're seeing on the screen here.
That I have when I'm using a computer. Even better than the level of control I have.
It's not a high bar for you.
Yeah.
Actually, just to be clear, this guy, he's controlling this with his brain. So he's not, you can't see his hands in this video, but he's not using a mouse and keyboard. He's just thinking about how to move the cursor and playing Civilization 6.
No eye tracker.
Right, there's no eye tracking.
From thoughts.
He's live streaming it. You can go watch this on Twitter.
Just thinking.
Yeah,
that's it.
Just thinking.
This is just a couple days ago. Cursor move here.
Yeah.
And maybe another interesting point is that on the first day he used BCI, brain control, he was able to break the previous world record for cursor control just by using the brain. And recently he even doubled it and was able to outperform about 10% of our engineered Neuralink. And you can be sure that we are very good in this game and very quick. And if you want to check out how well you can do it, you can do it on our website. And it's very addictive games.
Yeah, it's a very simple game. You just have to click on the square. But so I mean, anyone who wants to try this, I recommend going to the Neuralink.com website and seeing if you can beat Nolan's record. And you will find that's actually quite difficult to do so. And this is really with version 1 of the device and with only a small percentage of the electrodes that are working. So this is really just the beginning, but even the beginning is twice as good as the world record. This is important to emphasize.
So you can see what's going to happen here. All the gamers are going to want to have the Neuralink because it's going to make them better gamers. Nolan, the very first human patient, was able to break the world record on the first iteration of the Neuralink for cursor control game. And now he's doubling the previous world record with speed now that he's trained himself to do it. They said on the first day he beat the world record. So there's obvious advantages to having this connection in your brain. He goes on to talk, Elon goes on to talk a little bit more about that you'll be able to see things eventually that others can't, like radar. You'll be able to see infrared because the Neuralink will allow visibility to things that are unseen to the human eye. Interesting. I mean, where this could go is just crazy to think about. I can't even fathom where it could go with AI incorporation, but it's also scary because you don't know how far this could get down the road of absurdity or craziness. What I want to do is just end off this podcast, this video, by saying, we have a good God. We have a God who loves us, and he doesn't want us to live in fear. We do appear to be nearing the end. I mean, right? I mean, there's so many things that are happening in this world, including what's happening in the Middle East right now. Iran is about to, or has said they're going to launch an attack on Israel. Russia and China are involved with Iran. This is something new that's completely along Bible prophecy lines. Whenever God came to speak to humans through an angel or whatever it may be, he would also say, do not be afraid. You know, it's me. I'm here for something good. He's always got good in mind when he's reaching out personally to people. And there's a good verse in Luke chapter 21, verses 25, and it talks about the end of the world, the return of Christ. It says, there will be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and on the earth distress among nations, in perplexity at the roaring of the sea and waves, people fainting from fear and the expectation of the things that are coming upon the world. For the powers of the heavens will be shaken, and then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. But when these things begin to take place, straighten up, lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. And he told them a parable to look at the fig tree and all the trees. And as soon as they put forth leaves, you see for yourselves and know that summer is now near. So you too, when you see things that are these things happening, recognize that the kingdom of God is near. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. So there's a message there to not be afraid. Don't let your heart fail you for fear for the things that are coming on the earth, but instead turn to God. Put your attention on Jesus. Look up to the skies, because he's coming. He's coming soon. And it's nearer today than it was yesterday. But at the same time, let's live our lives that are worthy of the calling that we've received. Let's continue to occupy until he comes. Let's live in this world and be in this world and be real in this world for people and sharing the love of God. And that's part of what this channel is all about. I want to share the love of God with you, and also let you know about things that are happening in this world, and also what you can expect from biblical prophecy, but also the good news of the gospel, which is for everyone. Please like and subscribe and share if you like this channel. I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to grow this thing to get it monetized. I'm a Gen Xer on this platform, and I am building something that, you know, may be impossible against the algorithm because of who I am as a, you know, older guy who's also a Christian and a bit wacky. So please like and subscribe and share. Help me build this channel. I appreciate your time. Turn to Jesus. Keep looking up. God's got your back. He loves you. And thanks for watching. Have yourself a great day. Bye for now.
To reaching the top of the summit, I was about yay high when Yahweh told me to run it. Only a matter of time before my mob be the hit in 100. I swore a sign, he told me to pay more attention, he already done it.